So today we're going to be looking at the first unit of the Street Pack series, Getting Started. And we're going to be looking at place and exploring ideas of relationship to place in this short discussion. So when you use the word place and relationship to place, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think if you were to look in the literature, you'd see a lot of discussion about the distinction between landscape and spaces and places. Landscape, we understand, is a concept that means that we're out of doors. We're looking at natural elements of landscape. Spaces we're used to talking about in an urban context. So you might have a city square and it's delineated by buildings, and that is a space. Or you might have a back alley, which is a lot less lovely, but that's a space in an urban landscape that we're quite used to thinking about. But when we start talking about place, that's where it's interesting for us, because place implies that there is a human relationship with spaces and landscapes. Place implies that we have memories of that place, that we have regular routeways through that space, that we have a mental map of that space. So it's the relationship with place, with spaces and landscape, that makes place really important. And I'll stop there. I'll stop there because I think I'm about to launch into answering the next question.
So from what you've just said, place is a space where we have a connection to things that have happened there, that we have invested in that square kilometre or that town square or that park, because we've got memories, experiences, and a connection to that.
Yeah.
And why is this so important?
Yeah, it's the connection. You came to that word, and that's what it's all about. It's the connection. And it may not be that you have memory of place, though that can be very important for some people, but it might also be that you have aspiration for place. So say you're a new young family to an area and you're looking to make friends, and you come to the local park, then you'll be looking to make relationships. Or again, at the school gate, you'll be, that's a place where you're looking to make relationships. You come to that place not just because that's where the children come out of the school in a geographic sense, but because that's where there's a social landscape for you. So each of those factors, whether they extend into the future, whether they're about now, aspirations for now, or whether they're related to your memories of place, may vary for every single individual on your street. And that's why these concepts are important for really effective communication to everyone on your street, rather than just the people with the same relationship that you have.
So this sense of place that we've been talking about, it doesn't have to be somewhere glamorous or spectacular. It's just a place.
Yeah.
So it could be as every day as the school gate or the bus stop or the pub.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a concept that really underpins all of the work that Interwoven does through the Schoolometer with its communities, is that every single place has meaning and heritage and importance. And unless we do that connection that we're talking about with the people of that place and to that essence of that place, the characteristics of that place, then how will we come to care about it? How will we come to look after our environment, invest in its future, celebrate its past? So it's reconnecting people with the characteristics of their place in a deeper way, but then understanding that every single person who shares that space with you will have a slightly different relationship. And this course hopefully will help you navigate that, so you can have a really good relationship with all of those different voices in your place.
So there's a lot of acknowledging difference and looking through and beyond.
Yeah, yeah.
To kind of connect
Find
back,
connections. Yeah.
Connect back to 100 years ago, or further back to the Bronze Age,
Yeah.
for example.
Why not? Your landscape was here long before you were, long before the houses of your street were. The landscape, you know, your bit of the Earth's crust has been here for hundreds of millions of years. If you want to think in geological timescale, why not dive into all?
So we've got all these layers. So it's like unpeeling. We're back to our archaeological dig image. We're going through the layers of soil and seeing what we can find, what we can discover from the records, from those lived histories, and then in some way comparing it to now.
Yes, yeah, and that's where the treasure lies, really, and where the clue is in finding really good connection with your neighbours, with the people who share your place, is connecting the then and now. Because two of the biggest, strongest, different relationships with place will be those who remember, have memories, deep set memories of place. And
so the sort of the long-term dwellers, the people who've been there from childhood to old age.
Yeah. So they may well be the older members of your community, and those who are new to your community. So they're coming with aspiration for the future. They come hoping to make a different set of relationships with place. So these are the two strongest forces, really, when you're trying to bring a community together. They're not the only ones, but the relationship to place is a useful place to start. No pun intended. So so that then and now, that's why uncovering the heritage of a place is really, really useful, because that will speak directly and allow the people with memory of place to come and bring an input, and you'll be able to engage them on that level.
So how do you actually make this then and now tool work?
Right. Okay. Well, if you excuse me, I'm going to share screen so that we link this back to the unit, so that people have a sort of visual in their minds about how to do this. Here's the then and now tool, and what this unit does is it allows you to tick off or explore or find out the things that people are talking about right now. So the modern concern, the people who are coming and thinking in terms of what this play, their current relationship and what it might be in the future. And this column is the things that they're talking about there. So you can explore this through the social networking groups, the WhatsApp groups. The great thing about COVID is that, of course, a lot more of these groups exist. And so you map these down in this column, and these are the kinds of things that you'll find they're talking about. You know, traffic and utilities. There's a lot of skill swaps and seed swaps and other free cycling going on, which is absolutely great to see. Coffee mornings, a little bit of nature. There's some people are doing some nature watch in their gardens. Another big thing is sort of complaints about antisocial behaviour. And so they're mapped down in that column. The other thing that the tool allows you to do the first 4 or 5 units, I think, of the course, is to really dig down into the heritage of the place. So the then. What were people talking about in the past? What are the significant heritage factors that are going to speak well to people with memory of place, with deep connection into the past of place? And so you list those in the second column.
So where will we find those? How will we discover those?
Yes, well, that's exactly what the units go through. So the first 5 units will take you through in detail how to unearth, really dig down into the detail of the heritage of your place, and lead you to really see it differently, to stand on your street and you'll see for the first time things that you've walked past almost every day, and you'll see them differently. And using these units, you'll uncover those aspects of hidden aspects of your very own place. And every single place, every single block of flats, cul-de-sac, street, lane, park will have them. So then the trick is then to have a look across to the third column, where what I've done is I've pulled out things that actually map across. So there will be some things in your particular instance that people are talking about now that you have not found examples of in the past. There will be things in the past that aren't being talked about now, but the real treasure lies where there's connection across both, because then you've got the best, absolute best opportunity to have really good, engaging conversations with the people with both sets of relationships with your place, and bring them out into a joint celebration. That's where the real treasure lies. And so you can see some of the examples that I've pulled out here. Traffic, people are talking about traffic all the time now. Well, jumpers for goalposts, you know, the memories of being able to play out in the street is something that your older residents will really, really care about. This is something that maps beautifully from then and now. People care about whether we can play out or not, whether we can come out of doors, whether our children can be safely out of doors and on the street. That's a beautifully mapping concept, probably for most streets. Thinking about it. And so one of the things that we suggest here is that, well, get out on the street, reclaim the street, close it, get a temporary traffic order, close it down, and have a street celebration, so that you can, and we saw some of that at the beginning of COVID. Some people did come out for VJ Day, didn't they? And
yes.
there's definitely appetite for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One of the other things is you can kind of flip it on its head. So I had a little look at at one particular street in Exeter, and I found it's a very small street. Really easily using the resources in the pack, I found 3 examples actually of good deeds and street heroes, just by really quite easily and very quickly. So you can flip that whole the complaint about antisocial behaviour on its head, and actually run a suggestion for, well, actually, I'm sure there are modern heroes too. So here you can give your neighbours examples of, did you know, at number 3, Private Albert Brenham, he was one of the first people to cross the Rhine in 1945, and you can highlight heroes of the past in order to remind people that we have heroes today as well, and run a little project with that. So
what's so lovely with that is the fact that you're actually in this house.
Yes.
You know, next door to me, connected to me.
Exactly.
You could chat over the garden fence about it. It suddenly really reveals that history isn't something that happened in London or in the palaces. It happened over the garden fence in the very house that I'm living in now.
Yeah. And
that sense of connection ripples backwards in a most wonderful way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's that bringing it right back to your place. It's all about your place. This course will reveal the most extraordinary hidden histories of any single place. And these are your histories. They belong to you. But they're more than reflections of the past. There are ways, when you use this then and now, mapping it across, to actually make a better future too.